Hello and welcome to Catholic Answers Live. Merry Christmas. I'm saying that because I'm probably not going to get a chance to say it to you again between now and actual Christmas Day. Advent approaches its climax with the celebration of the birth of the Lord on Christmas Day. And we got, I think, kind of a fun show planned for you today. First hour, we're going to take just kids' questions. It's going to be all kids' questions. And Trent Horn, apologist here at Catholic Answers, author of almost every Catholic book published this year. Trent Horn, how are you?
I'm doing well. Sometimes I wonder, a lot of people suggest that I do the kids' question shows. I don't know if it's because I'm a kid at heart or I look like I just barely escaped childhood yesterday, but I'm happy to be here.
Yes, I don't think it's because you're a kid at heart, because if we're going for a kid at heart, I think Jimmy wins that one, even though he's the most kid at heart we've got, don't you?
He really is. Jimmy is basically an amalgamation of every 9-year-old boy in his basement looking at comic books spread across the floor with action figures not taken out of the box, all bundled together with a large Catholic encyclopedia.
Yeah, right. If you did that, if you
put that together, that would be Jimmy Aiken, and add a beard.
Right. And if it came from the future to kill John Connor. Maybe no.
Or to save the church with an impressive amount of knowledge. But that's neither here nor there.
So, but there's a little twist on the kids' show this hour, and we'll get to that. Second hour, we're going to do game show, and Carlo Broussard will be our top secret guest. We always like to have a secret celebrity come in as our guest, and that will be Carlo Broussard today. Kids show, usually we say just dial the phone, and we'd be happy to take your call, and we're going to say that today. If you are a kid or you got one, then just dial 888-318-7884. We're happy to take any question you have about faith or religion. But we also have some of the kids from here at Catholic Answers.
We do.
And we have cookies and we have hot chocolate. We won't be able to give that to the kids who call in, but the kids who come in can have the cookies and hot chocolate.
Could we put some of the hot chocolate like in an envelope and mail it to them?
We could. I am thinking that might not be I don't know if that's a good strategy there, Trent Horn, but you can have some hot chocolate if you want.
I'll have their hot chocolate then. So.
That's just mean to say it
with
that
two
way.
Marshmallows.
888-318-7884
Peppermint, just a tiny bit of peppermint
is the number today.
That was very Julia Childs.
And now we'll put in some peppermint.
I wasn't sure if you were being Julia Childs or one of like little Cindy Lou Who. Do you know who Cindy? You're familiar with Cindy Lou Who?
Of the Whoville?
Yeah, of Whoville.
Oh, yes.
She's the one that I think she melted the Grinch's heart.
Well, if anything, she probably helped. The Grinch had a probably fatal heart condition when it grew 3 times its ordinary size.
No, it was 3 sizes too small. It grew to its normal size.
Oh.
It grew to normal size, but it was 3 sizes too small before.
Okay.
888-318-7884. If you're young, you're young enough that you need your parents' permission, ask your parents' permission, and maybe you can give a call, 888-318-7884. If you've got a kid that you think, they got my kid or my grandkid, or they got a good question, help them dial 888-318-7884. This is not nepotism. Our first question. It's not nepotism that our first question comes from the son of the president of Catholic Answers. It's not like we received intense pressure from the president of Catholic Answers to put his son on
Catholic
first.
Answers believes in promoting family values almost as much as we promote family members.
Right, and we believe in doing what the boss says, too. Those are two things.
That's
but
true.
I have to say, Nathaniel Check is one of my favorite people. He's a very fine man. We cruised the St. Lawrence River together one time. Do you remember that?
I
Nathaniel?
do. That was a lot of fun.
And
With everyone else. Well,
it was with the Catholic
the
Answers
Catholic
Cruise.
Answers Cruise, yeah.
And that's when I got to know Nathaniel. And he really is a fine young man. And you came prepared with a question, Nathaniel?
I did.
All right. Whenever you are ready.
Excellent.
So,
So,
ho, 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 little boy, what question do you have on our Christmas-themed Catholic Answers Q&A?
If
like
Trent
that
does that
theme.
again, can we just cut the mic when it
Okay.
starts? All right,
Okay.
just cut.
all right, I'm prepared now.
All right, Nathaniel.
So my question is, at the institution of the Eucharist, when Christ was, or at the Last Supper, when he was instituting the Eucharist, how could Jesus have been offering up his body and blood if he had not yet fulfilled the covenant through his sacrifice on the cross?
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, that is a complex question.
Maybe
for
we'll take a break
for
while Trent
kid's
looks that up.
Q&A.
No, go ahead, Trent.
No, that's a good question, Nathaniel. And I think so. The essence of your question is how can Jesus offer up his gloriously resurrected body and blood under the presence of the Eucharist if that event had not happened yet during the course of the Last Supper when the Eucharist was instituted? I think what we have to remember is that when events happen in the universe, we have different vantage points for them. So we use phrases like did not happen yet means it was not presently visible to everyone on that very first Holy Thursday at that moment in time. But as paragraph 600 of the Catechism says, all moments of time are immediately present to God. And so God can apply effects from different moments in time into other moments in order to accomplish his will. For example, like when we talk about how Mary could have been immaculately conceived, she received sanctifying grace, the grace that Christ merited on the cross for her. That was applied to her conception, even though that took place, 44 years before Christ was ever crucified.
Right.
So a similar thing here, that if we think that God has sovereign dominion over not only all places but all times, he can apply the effects and the merits and those things that happen at different times to other points within the timeline of his own creation, including what would happen later in the future on the first Easter, on Resurrection Sunday, to apply to the Eucharist being instituted on Holy Thursday. So I think that for us, we just have to stretch our minds a bit to get in the perspective of God, who is outside of time itself, to imagine how God, who is all-powerful, can do that. So I don't know if that's a helpful way to look at it.
No, that helped a lot. Yeah, I think I understand a little bit better now.
Okay, great. I'm glad to do
Nathaniel,
that.
thanks very much for coming in and being our first question.
My pleasure.
We're going on a cruise this year. Did you know that? We're going. I don't know if Nathaniel's going.
I might not.
You might not.
School's
Okay.
got me down.
Oh, school. Yeah, there is that little matter. But in any case, Catholic Answers will be cruising on February 10th through 17th in the Caribbean. Or do you say Caribbean?
No comment.
It's
Thanks,
I
Nathaniel.
believe the artist Billy Ocean settled that once for all. It's Caribbean Queen.
Oh, Caribbean. Yeah,
Queen.
Caribbean. Okay, that does help.
So
yeah.
I think so. But also, if you're not available for that, Nathaniel, you and others can consider that this summer, at the end of summer, I'll be leading a pilgrimage to Greece in the footsteps of St. Paul. So you or anyone else who's interested in that, going to Greece, Ephesus, the island of Patmos, where the book of Revelation was written, can check that out at greece2019.com.
Thanks, Nathaniel. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, Chris. Okay, boss. That's okay. All right, we did. We satisfied the boss. 888-318-7884 is the number if you want to call. Shall we get another questioner in here? Are we ready to go, Eric? Or sure. Yes. All right.
Let's
Eric
bring him
Eric
over.
Eric Gustafson. That's what I said. Didn't I say it right? Eric Gus. Okay, Eric. I won't attempt to do his job title, but basically, you know who Eric is if you understand that. If you needed a screwdriver or anything else that might actually accomplish a task, Eric's the only one in the building who knows where they are. Hi, Eric. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Your actual job title is what?
They call me the production manager.
Oh, production manager. Okay, very cool. And who do you have with you?
This is my son, Joseph.
And Joseph has a sister as well. Is that correct? What's your sister's name, Joseph?
Emma.
Emma. Is she here?
Yeah.
Okay, there she is out there. Hi, Emma. Joseph, do you have a question for Trent Horn?
How far is Bethlehem?
Oh, what an excellent question. But I forgot to ask you how old you are. Did you?
5.
You're 5. Okay, great. So how far is Bethlehem from, where do you live? Here in California?
Yeah.
So how far is it from California?
Well, Joseph, Bethlehem is pretty far away from here. I don't know the exact miles, but when I went and visited there, I flew on a plane. Do you know how long I flew on a plane to get there? No. I flew 16 hours to get there.
Wow.
So it was a really long time from here. But you know what? When the wise men went to go visit Jesus and the Holy Family, it might have taken them about a day to get there, maybe about the same amount of time, but they went a lot slower because they probably went on camels and horses. So Bethlehem is just a few miles away from Jerusalem, but you could get there in about a day if you're riding on a camel. So does that help answer your question?
Yeah.
Hey, Joseph, do you, I guess, do you like, I don't know if I guess it on here, we'll see what happens. Are you looking forward, maybe in a few days I could bring Matthew over to come play with you? Would you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you knew Matthew.
Yeah, they have really fun playtime together and all that. So would
oh.
that be good? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Joseph, who was born in Bethlehem? Do you know?
Jesus.
Oh, okay. All right. So you can answer the questions. Maybe if we get a really hard one, we'll call you in. We got to take a break now. Thank you for coming in, Joseph.
Welcome.
And thank you, Eric.
You got it.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Kids Open Forum on Catholic Answers Live. I'm looking out now. A lot of kids are here now. They must have heard there's cookies.
Look at that really joyful one over there. Oh, wait, that's Tim Staples.
Yeah, that's the big kid.
There's one kid really excited about those cookies.
So let's take that break. If you call, we'll do our very best to get your question to Trent. But we also have a whole bunch of the kids from the Catholic Answers family here today and Christmas cookies, and we'll get more of that after this on Catholic Answers Live.
Hello, this is Bishop Jeffrey Monforton, Bishop of the Diocese of Steubenville. Make sure you keep it on Catholic Answers Live. God bless you.
You've heard that St. Paul Street Evangelization supports hundreds of teams of evangelists sharing the good news. But did you know that some of these teams are public prayer stations? Set up a sign on the sidewalk and offer prayer and encouragement to those you encounter. Everyone needs prayer. Try this new method of witnessing to Jesus. Contact St. Paul Street Evangelization to get started at streetevangelization.com. That's streetevangelization.com.
It's the start of a new day and a new year for Morning Glory.
What are you listening to when you're getting ready to get the kids to school? What are you listening to on that drive in that's going to wake up your spirit and begin your day focusing and thinking about the faith?
You're going to know you're listening to people that care about what you're doing. We want you to get to heaven too. We all want to get there together. And we can have fun doing it.
So it's like your morning cup of coffee for your soul.
Me included.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers joins Gloria Purvis and the Morning Glory team Monday, January 14th on EWTN Radio.
Oh, we're having so much fun getting ready for Christmas here at Catholic Answers. I'm Cy Kellett, your host. This is Catholic Answers Live, and it is a family party here now at Catholic Answers. We got cookies, we got hot chocolate, and we have lots of the kids from the Catholic Answers family here to ask questions of Trent Horn. If you'd like to call, you're also welcome to call with your questions for Trent Horn if you're a kid, because it's Kids Open Forum. 888-318-7884 is the number. Up next is Rose. Rose, are you a kid?
Yes.
Oh, you are? Okay, all right. I just needed to make sure. And how old are you, Rose?
10.
And Rose, which of these families do you belong to out here? What's the last name of your family?
Staples.
So I'm guessing that Tim Staples, your dad, works here. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, Rose, your question for Trent Horn.
My question is, how could there be three persons in one God without there being three gods?
Wow, we get
Trent,
we get another
Trent
one.
is stunned. Not only that, her dad is watching this answer. So,
Are you sure you don't want to know how far away Bethlehem is? I was good at answering that one.
far away, 16 hours.
Sure. Well, I think, Rose, in order to answer that question, people say, well, how could God be three persons? Isn't that three gods? A lot of times we think the word God means just a special kind of person. And that's where people make the mistake and they have a hard time understanding who God is. Like, we think God is just one person with a lot of powers who's like a big genie that sits outside of the universe and looks at everything. But God is not a person like you or I. So what God is just perfect existence. So perfect being existence. So anything that's true, good, and beautiful, those perfections are just in God. So God is the reason anything is. So the reason your dad's here, the reason that I'm here, you're here, the only reason stuff exists is because God is existence, okay? So things that exist, we make a difference between a being and a person, all right? So a being is just something that's real. And a person is something that's real, that's a who, that, relates to other people. Like, you're a person, I'm a person. Cy Kellett, amazingly enough, he's a person too.
I am a person. He doesn't always admit it, but I am a person.
So some beings are only how many persons are. Like when I have this cell phone, how many persons is that? Is this cell phone a person? But it exists, right?
So it's a being, but not a person. Does that make sense to you, Rose?
Yeah. So this cell phone, it exists. So it has being. It's real, but it's 0 persons. Now you and I, we exist and we're beings. How many persons are you?
1.
Right. How many persons am I?
1.
Okay. So there can be beings, things that exist that are no persons. And there can be beings that exist like you and me who are 1 person. Now, you and I, we couldn't be more than 1 person because we're limited. You know, we only exist in this little tiny part of this universe. We're limited. There's things we can and can't do. But God, he's unlimited. God can do anything that's possible. God isn't limited by space or time. God isn't limited by anything except his own perfect nature. So because God is unlimited, he can be more than 1 person. That's something you and I can't do. So the way God can be a trinity or 3 persons is that there are limited beings that are 0 persons and limited beings that are 1 person, like you or I. But since God is unlimited being, nothing restricts him. He can be more than 1 person. So the Bible, did you know the Bible says that God is love? Right? Okay. So if God is love, when you love someone, it's a way to relate. You love another person. So, you know, your parents love you and you love them. Well, when we say God is love, that makes sense that if God is more than 1 person, to say God is love, then the Father and Son, that is the love they give to one another that becomes the Holy Spirit. So we start to see, I see how God could be more than 1 person, because if he's love, love gives itself to other people. We don't share it all just within 1 person. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming by.
Rose, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
At nighttime, do you ever get holy water on you?
Yes.
How does that happen, that you get holy water on you at nighttime? Does someone put it on you?
Well, yeah, my dad does.
Oh, I had heard that. I had heard that your dad puts holy water on you. Rose Staples, you did a really great job. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much. And I think, is that your brother who's going to be up next?
Yes.
Yep, Luke Staples is next. And while you guys are switching, I'm going to go to a boy who called on the phone. Okay, so you guys go ahead and switch. And I'll have David from Minnesota. Are you there, David, from Minnesota?
Yeah.
And how old are you, David?
7.
And what is your question, David?
Why does God make things that hurt you?
Oh, why does God make things that hurt you?
David, I ask myself that every time when I step on a rock in the backyard, when I try to go to get my kids' toys. And I wonder, why do these things have to be extra pokey? When you talk about things that hurt you, do you have something in mind?
Is there...
You were talking about like insects.
Is it like a bug or an animal? Is that what you mean?
He said yes.
He said yes. Okay.
Okay, so let's go.
Okay,
with-
so David, let's go with, why would God make animals that hurt us? Well, here's the thing that when God made our first parents, when he made Adam and Eve, he gave them these preternatural gifts. He gave them gifts so that they wouldn't die and they wouldn't suffer. So even if there were animals that had like sharp teeth or, sharp claws or things like that, that wouldn't have hurt our very first parents because they had this special grace from God that they wouldn't die and they wouldn't suffer. They'd be protected from things in the world that could hurt them. But now here's the problem. Our first parents, Adam and Eve, they disobeyed God. So they lost that grace that gave them that protection. And so now the world could hurt them and they could die. And because they lost that grace, it wasn't passed on to us. So now things in this world can hurt us, but we have hope because Jesus came and died for us. We have hope that even though we will die, we won't go away forever, that we'll be raised and will live forever in heaven with Jesus. So God understood that there might be some bad things that happen in this life, but he always makes sure it works out for good in the end because God can do anything and he knows everything and he loves you and me with more love than you can imagine. So I hope that helps you to understand why there's things that might hurt us in this life, but in the scheme of eternity, everything will be okay. So I hope that helps you.
Does that help, David?
Yeah.
All right, David, thanks so much for calling. And since we can't give you any cookies or hot chocolate over the phone, just stay on the phone, and Marie will come and ask your mom if it's all right if we send you another present. Okay, David?
It's okay.
Okay, hang on. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, David. Next up, here in the studio with us is another one of the Staples children. This is Luke Staples. Hi, Luke.
Hi, Trent.
That one's Trent.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you promoted me. I'm not that smart. But thanks very much. What is your question for Trent, Luke?
Well, my question is, how could God become man if he can't change? Because he's a divine person, and he as a divine person doesn't change.
What do you all do over at the Staples house? Like, do you have like philosophy classes start every day? Okay, that's another tough one for Trent Horn. How can God become a man if God can't change? Am I about right?
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
And Luke, that's a very good question. And you would be right that if God were a divine person, if Jesus, God the Son, were a divine person, and then in the incarnation, if he became a human person like you or me, if he became a human person, then that would be a change in God. And that's not possible because God is divine. So we say that he's immutable. Nothing changes in God. However, some things change in relation to God. So, for example, if I worked out like a super ton, like if I just hit the bench press all the time and I got really buff.
Like Carlo.
Well, if I worked out so hard and I got more muscles than your dad.
That'd be a lot of work.
Which would be a ton of work, right?
Right.
Because your dad's a pretty big guy. We would say, that your dad became less buff than me. But guess what? Nothing changed in him. The change was in me. Nothing changed in him.
Oh.
The change was in me, even though we say that, he became, less buff than me, which is a metaphysical impossibility given my lifestyle. So when God interacts with the world, those changes happen in relation to God, but nothing changes in God. So when God creates the world, he doesn't get a new title, like I've now become a creator. We've changed. We've come into existence in relation to him. So when God became man, what happened there was the divine person of God the Son. Nothing changed in God the Son. What happened was that human nature forever changed, because human nature was joined to the Son's divine nature. And in that way, human nature could be redeemed and could be saved. So what might look like God changed, because now God has a human nature, nothing changed in the divine person, in that subject. Instead, the divine person, his divine nature, now is fully united with a human nature. So it wasn't Jesus that changed when he acquired a human nature. It was human nature itself. We all changed in that now we can be united to him. So that's a way to help us look and understand that God doesn't change, but it can seem that way because of how he affects the world. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
All
great.
right. All right, Luke, thank you very, very much for coming in. Are you getting any hot chocolate or cookies while you're out there or no?
Yeah, probably.
All right. Well, if you accidentally throw one back to me when you go out there, that would be fine, Luke. No one would be sad if that happened.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks
Take
for
care,
being
Luke.
here, Luke.
I don't have a call, so I think, but you're straight up next, Bella. Come on over. Bella, you are not one of the Staples. I am fairly certain of it. And so who do you belong to here at Catholic Answers, Bella?
I'm sisters with Emily and Grace Sanchez.
Emily and Grace Sanchez, Emily is the assistant to the president here, and Grace is, I still do not know Grace's title. She just does everything. So do you know what her title is?
I don't know.
And how old are you, Bella?
17.
And you have a question for Trent?
I do, yeah. I was wondering, is there any way to tell how many souls are in heaven or heaven and hell, and is there or are there more souls in one of the places?
Sure. The church has not defined or officially taught what proportion of humanity has been saved. This is something that different church fathers and theologians have speculated about through church history, but there isn't a magisterial teaching about, well, this is the percent of humanity that's going to go to heaven, and this is the percent that's going to go to hell. One thing that makes it hard to understand that is, we might try to speculate these things about the world, but first, we are not in the place to be able to judge like God judges. Second, it's hard, even, let's say hypothetically, the majority of people from Christ until now were going to heaven or hell. What if the human race lasts another 10,000 years? It could change up a lot after that. Yeah. So we'll put a bow on this answer maybe right when we come back, okay?
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so stick with us.
Hang on, Bella. I just asked what your sister Grace's title is. I was told she's in development. That's not a title. Is that they're hiding it from me for some reason. It's Kids Open Forum this hour on Catholic Answers Live. You're welcome to call 888-31-TRUTH if you're a kid and you have a question. If not, we've got lots of kids here today.
Catch Catholic Answers live anytime at Catholic.com.
Christmas is coming, and with Advent already upon us, we want to make sure you know about our annual Christmas sale with hundreds of great faith-building resources all on sale at 20% off when you enter promo code CALIVE18 at checkout. With great new resources by Jimmy Akin, Trent Horn, Christopher Check, and other great Catholic teachers, there's simply no better time to stock up on resources to build up your faith and the faith of those around you. Phone 888-291-8000 or go to shop.catholic.com right now to take advantage of what is truly the best Catholic sale on the internet, going on now through the end of the year. And remember, enter promo code CALIVE18 at checkout to save 20% on hundreds of great resources throughout the store.
A generation ago, Christian parents didn't have to worry about how to explain transgenderism to their 9-year-old children or help their teenager deal with mockery at school for believing in traditional marriage. But today, as our culture decays, we have to know how to talk to our children about these issues. In Made This Way, How to Prepare Kids to Face Today's Tough Moral Issues, Layla Miller and Trent Horn give parents the crucial tools and techniques to form children with the understanding they need, appropriate to their age and maturity level to meet the world's challenges. If we're not teaching our children how to understand tough moral issues, then the world will. Read Made This Way and learn how to give your kids a firm foundation on which to build a life of moral clarity and happiness. Order your copy of Made This Way today by calling 1-888-291-8000 or logging onto the shop at Catholic.com.
Monday on More to Life, the life you were meant to live.
We'll look at how the theology of the body can help you live a more abundant life.
Now back to Catholic Answers Live.
Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live. Next hour, the game show with Carlo Broussard as our top secret guest. This hour, Trent Horn is here with us, and we're taking kids' questions on any aspect of the Catholic faith, on religion, or maybe even a philosophical question or two. They're all welcome. If you'd like to get in on that, 888-318-7884 is the number. She stayed in studio with us, Bella, who is the sister of two folks who work here at Catholic Answers, Emily and Grace Sanchez. And so I'll let you two take it from there. I'm not going to try to sum it up again.
So, Bella, you asked the question, will more people be in heaven or more people be in hell? That was the essence of your question. Mm-hmm. And as we were talking to the break, I know we were saying, like, you were like, is that a good question to ask? Like, that's a super good question to ask. Okay. A lot of people have struggled with this. In fact, it was a question that was posed to Jesus himself. In Luke chapter 13, it says that Jesus went on his way through towns and villages, teaching and journeying towards Jerusalem. Okay. And someone said to him, Lord, will those who are saved be few? And Jesus said to them, strive to enter by the narrow door, for many, I tell you, will seek to enter and will not be able. So as I said before the break, the church has not defined or officially taught what proportion of humanity will be saved or will be damned.
Okay.
Now, different church fathers and theologians have speculated about this, and many church fathers held to the view that the majority of the human population would not be saved. To take how Jesus' words mean, just many will not. There's also another way that one could take these words, that if we think of God as being a father, and that for a father to ever lose, how many children for a father to lose in his life? Like if how many of your own children would be too many for you to lose to some kind of a tragic death or a drug addiction? I think most would say one is too many.
Yeah.
So if we look at it in that way, that many can mean large numbers of people, more than any loving father in heaven would ever want, but not necessarily a majority proportion.
Okay.
So, and as I said before the break, we're just not in a position to know that. It also could be the case that throughout history right now, a majority of people were not saved. But if humanity continues for, let's say, another 10,000 years, there could be a great change in the human community, within the church and evangelization, where it's counterbalanced in the next 10 millennia. We just don't know. All we know, I think Peter Crave put it well. He said when this question was posed that Jesus, he liked to say Jesus emphasized strive to enter as being the answer. That sometimes we spend a lot of time morbidly obsessing whether other people will be saved, that we can neglect the only thing we have control over, which is whether you or I will be saved.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that make sense?
That does, yeah.
Great.
I guess also you can, you can kind of get like a little bit of an idea, but by all the saints, because they're all in heaven, but you don't really know anything about hell.
Oh, right, yeah. We don't have a lot of dispatches from hell.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we had a few apparitions, people claiming these sorts of things. There's Jesus told the story about the rich man who didn't take care of Lazarus and wanted to go and tell his brothers not to meet the same fate as him. But yeah, it's hard to know that, and that's why on November 1st we celebrate All Saints Day, because the saints that are canonized represent a very, very tiny fraction of the saints that are in heaven. I mean, a lot of people who are saints just weren't in the time and place to have good PR for us to know really good stories about them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like your sisters, Grace and Emily. They're very
Yeah.
Or I was
you're like, or you can,
Yeah,
if your sisters are ever up for being canonized, the Vatican used to have an office. It was called the Devil's Advocate. You ever heard that phrase, to play devil's advocate? Have you heard that before?
They don't talk like that in her family.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're very holy.
To play the devil's advocate would be if you believe something, but you might say, let's just say that this person's wrong. Though I believe them, but let's say they're wrong. I'm going to play devil's advocate. The Vatican used to have an office where a cardinal or a priest would say, I'm going to try to make my best case that this person should not be canonized. Wow. And so if they pass that test, then we really know that they're really holy. They don't have that office anymore, but besides bringing that up, you could say, if your sisters are up for it, you could say, I'd like to be interviewed, please. So
then you
keep
could be
that
the
in mind.
devil's advocate.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you could.
Great.
Bella, would you mind helping Catherine get all set up?
That'd be super
And
helpful.
I'm going to go to the phones while you do that. Thanks, Bella. Thanks very much. Another of the Sanchez sisters. On the line, we have Alexa from Tucson, Arizona. Are you there, Alexa?
Yep,
And how old are you, Alexa?
I am 10.
You are 10. Okay. And you have a question for Trent Horn. Go ahead. You're with your question.
Why is there so many wars if God likes peace?
That's a good question, Alexa. And ultimately, the answer is because people who choose to go to war choose to not obey the God of peace. In fact, the Bible says that God is the God of peace. Jesus is the Prince of Peace. And so the reason there are so many wars is when people allow hate and anger in their heart, or envy and covetousness. They desire what other people have. When they break God's law, and God, even though he's a God of peace and love, he still respects our freedom to choose to disobey him, whether it's in small matters, like when we, get mad and angry at our brothers and sisters, or big matters when whole countries get mad and angry at one another. But Alexa, there's actually a really good thing that when you might think there's a ton of wars right now because, when you turn on the news is always trying to tell bad things because grown-ups get obsessed with watching bad things on the news. But that isn't the way the world truly is. It can be distorted. But when you look at history as a whole, as the word of God has gone throughout the whole world, as people have evangelized the entire world and have learned about Jesus, there's actually a lot less wars than there were a long time ago. Did you know that the Bible says that in the Old Testament it says that every spring was called the season when kings went to do battle. So in the ancient world when Jesus and the people in the Bible lived, every spring when it got warm enough, people just went out and fought each other. Unfortunately, we don't live in a time like that now. We actually live in a really peaceful time because the Word of God has gone throughout the whole world. So actually, God's Word has helped to create more peace, even though it may not look like that if you watch the news. So is that a helpful answer?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Alexa, if you hang on and I get the permission of your mom or dad, whoever's there with you, we'd like to send you a present since we won't be able to share our cookies and chocolate, our hot chocolate with you. Thanks very much, Alexa. Now in the studio with us is, and your name is Pete William Chuckles. Okay, your name is what?
Catherine
Hello, Catherine. And your last name, Catherine?
Staples.
You are another of the Staples children. It's nice to have you here. I'm very, very jealous of your sparkly dinosaur shirt. That is an awesome sparkly dinosaur shirt. Did you have a question that you wanted to ask Trent?
Well, how could God save two people at once?
Well, Catherine, first I
Wow.
would say that God can do anything that's possible. God can make the possible actual. God never runs out of power. He can do anything that can be done. What do you mean God saves two people at once? Could you tell me a little more about that?
Like, if they're actually dead, how could he save them both at the same time?
Oh, so two people died at the same time.
Mhm.
But God brings them both to heaven, saves them, and brings them both to heaven. How can he do that if there's two different people that died at the same time, right? That's a very good question.
Well, you can look at it this way, that because God can do anything, if he can make a whole world, think about this, if God can make a whole world from nothing, like if you could make something from nothing, what would you do if you could make something from nothing? You could do like anything, right?
I don't think so, but maybe.
Yeah, well, I bet if you could make something from nothing, you could do almost anything you could think of. It's a lot of power. In fact, we call that being all-powerful. There's a fancy word for it. It's called omnipotent. It means you're potent. You can do anything that can be done. So God, if he can take one person and bring him to heaven, he could also take two people at the same time, or three people, or four, or I don't know, maybe millions or billions or infinite number of people. He could take them all up to heaven because God can do anything. If we can think of God doing it, he can do it because he's all powerful. He's omnipotent. Omnipotent is the better pronunciation. So does that help you maybe wrap your head around it a little?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you get any cookies yet?
By
No.
Out there? No, you didn't?
By the way, my son Matthew is 4. He's going to be 4, and he likes dinosaurs too. Do you have a favorite dinosaur?
Yeah, it's the biggest one.
What's the biggest one?
You don't even know its name.
I don't. I need to ask. I got to call Dinosaur.
Can I guess?
Dinosaur Answers Live.
Can I guess the biggest dinosaur?
Yeah.
Is it a Apatosaurus?
No.
A Brontosaurus?
No.
A Gigantosaurus?
No.
All right, go ahead. You say it.
What is the biggest dinosaur?
On the count of 3, say the biggest dinosaur. 1, 2, 3.
I'm just kidding. It's only my favorite. It's a pterodactyl.
Oh,
you
it's
like
the flying one.
You like the
flying
pterodactyl.
one. Got it. All right, Catherine.
All right.
Thank you for kidding with us.
You are a funny person. I'm glad you stopped by.
Well, you should go out there and get a cookie though, because there's a lot of people out there.
There's a lot of kids out there,
I think
and your
Nathaniel
dad.
Check by himself could eat about half of them. Thanks, Catherine. We have to take a break. You are up next. So you guys switch seats. We'll take a break. I want to let you know before we take this break, however, that if you visit the Catholic Answers Facebook page right now, you can download a free copy of our latest free ebook, Seeking the Star of Bethlehem. Head over to Facebook, go to the Catholic Answers page, and get yourself that free book, Seeking the Star of Bethlehem.
Got questions? Visit us today at Catholic.com.
EWTN teaching the truth.
I love listening to Catholic radio. It's perfect. It provides peace and it builds us up and strengthens us. We listen to it whenever we're in the car. My husband and I love it. He got me started with it before he even became a Catholic. He owns his own business, and so he's working by himself, and he listens to Catholic radio, and he's called in several times too. It's using the technology that we have for good.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
Are you a coffee drinker? If so, you can now enjoy a coffee roasted to perfection by the Carmelite monks of Wyoming. Delicious Mystic Monk coffee is roasted and prepared by monks in a hidden cloistered monastery and is available in over 25 varieties. All Mystic Monk coffees are works of perfection and labors of love. For more information on how to purchase Mystic Monk coffee, visit mysticmonkcoffee.com. That's mysticmonkcoffee.com.
Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live. It's Kids Open Forum today, and since it's Christmas time, we invited all the kids from Catholic Answers, whether they're parents or grandparents, their brothers or sisters, their cousins work here. We invited them all in for cookies and chocolate milk and asked them, come on in and ask any question you've got. Last up was Catherine Staples, who is 7 years old. And in the meantime, during the break, we could not get her out of the seat. So we've still got Catherine Staples. Is there something else that you wanted to say, Catherine?
What's your favorite dinosaurs? Both of you.
Okay, my favorite dinosaur is the, I think it's the Triceratops. Is that the one with the 3 horns and the... I think that's mine, Triceratops. That or Deinosuchus, which is a giant alligator.
Deinonychus?
That's what I meant. Deinonychus.
Right. I think so.
I just pronounce it with the old Greek pronunciation.
My favorite is the same as my son Matthew. We both like Tyrannosaurus Rex. Is our favorite.
That's the biggest.
It's he's the biggest meat eater. He's the biggest meat eater. So. All right, well, thanks for asking us so much about dinosaurs, and you better go grab a cookie out there while there's still a few left, okay?
Okay.
Bye, Catherine.
All right, bye, Catherine.
Is Max up next? Okay, Max, come on over. It's open forum here at Catholic Answers Live for kids, and Max is the next kid up, although... Max, can I guess your age? 32.
No.
I'm never good at that. How old are you, Max?
11.
11, and who do you go with here at Catholic Answers?
Emily and Grace.
Oh, another member of the Sanchez family. And Max, your question for Trent.
Why would God let us die if we're not ready for it?
What do you mean that we're not ready for it?
Like, say if you're in a car and you're driving in the freeway and then you get in a car crash.
So you're asking, why does God sometimes allow us to die like really quickly, like we don't know we're going to die?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, the reason that happens sometimes is because God gives us life. He gave us life in this world, and life is a gift from God. And it's just a precious gift, and it's kind of a mystery as to why he only gives us a certain amount. You know, he gives us a certain number of years, certain number of decades, and he doesn't always announce to us, hey, you're going to die on this date. One reason that God doesn't do that is because he wants us to live out life and to treat every moment we have right now as being special as if it were our last moment. Like if I knew, I'm definitely not going to die for another 10 years, then I might say, I don't need to worry about God right now. I can just do whatever I want, and then right before I die, I'll fix up everything. But God doesn't want us to live like that. He wants us to take care of our life and to love him and to treat the life he gave us right now as being very, very special. And it is special because we don't know how long we have for it. It's a gift. And then one day God may take that gift away and we don't stop existing. Instead, we go to be judged. And if we died in God's friendship, then we'll spend eternity with him. So we should always live not like worrying like, oh, is this the last day or not? I don't know. We should always pray, Lord, if this is my last day, please let my soul be in a state of grace so I can spend the rest of my afterlife with you. So we should just treasure every moment that we have now. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Also, remember this, what the Bible tells us, that, sometimes we might worry about the future or what God does. In Romans 8:28, the Bible says, we know that in everything God works for good with those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. So even like if we die and it's very sudden, we know that if we love God and God loves us, he works that towards good always, even if we can't see it right now. So is that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thanks, Max. I want to ask you a question now. Is Max short for Maximilian?
Yes.
And are you named after, I'm just guessing now, Maximilian Kolbe?
Yes.
Oh, that's all right, Max. Thanks for coming in.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Let's see if we got anyone else who's going to come
And then
and
your sister
stop
Grace
on in.
is going to take you out. Grace, I don't know what your job here is, but I'm glad you're here.
Wrangler. Child wrangler.
On the line, we have Eli in New York calling. Did I say that right, Eli?
Yes.
Eli, how old are you?
7.
7. We're so happy to have you here with us, Eli. Your question for Trent.
Why did Protestants take some books out of the Bible?
That's
Wow,
a good question,
Eli.
Eli, and I'm very impressed that you answered the question by you asked the question by saying, why did Protestants take books out of the Bible? Because a lot of people say, why are there more books in Catholic Bibles? But there's actually the correct number. There are some books that are called the deuterocanonical books. These are books in the Old Testament that aren't in Protestant Bibles, like Tobit and Maccabees and Wisdom and Sirach and Judith and parts of Daniel and Esther and Baruch. So those are called the deuterocanonical books. The reason Protestants took them out of the Bible is that during the Protestant Reformation, the Protestant reformers said, we want to go back to the very original sources. So they wanted to have the most authentic faith they could. And so they said, well, let's make our Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament in our Bibles, it should be the same as the Old Testament in Jewish Bibles. And if you have any Jewish friends, their Bibles don't have these Old Testament books either. But here's the thing, it wasn't always that way. That in the time of Jesus, the Old Testament included those books. And later, for reasons we don't entirely know, in the 2nd century, so about 100 years after Jesus was crucified, a lot of Jews took those books out of their Bible, and then Protestants mistakenly followed that. But our Old Testament, Eli, is the same one that Jesus and the apostles used. And I tell you what, your parents may like this, and they could explain this more to you. We can send you a copy of a whole book on that question. My friend Gary Machuda wrote that book. It's called Why Catholic Bibles Are Bigger. So why don't we send, you stay on the line and make sure your parents there that they tell our call screener your address, and we can send that book and they could read it and tell you more about it. Would that be helpful?
Eli, thank you so much for that call. It was really nice to talk with you. You just hang on the line, and assistant producer Marie will talk with you. Next up, we have someone named Catherine on line 1. Catherine, are you there?
Yes.
Catherine, I don't usually do this, but do you mind telling me your last name?
Broussard.
Oh, this is Catherine Broussard. And how old are you, Catherine?
5.
5. Guess what? There's somebody here that I invited in the studio just to say hi to you. Do you want to say hi to Catherine Broussard?
Hi, Catherine Broussard.
You know who that is?
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you, princess?
Good.
I'm so proud of you for calling in.
Thank you.
Are you gonna ask Mr. Horn a good question? Because I'm gonna let him answer it and not me, because I don't want to get it wrong.
All right, Catherine, go ahead and ask your question, and Trent Horn will answer it for you.
Did Jesus have a guardian angel?
Well, that's a good question, and I'm not aware of a definitive teaching on this question, but we can assume that Jesus did, because do you remember what happened when the devil took Jesus on top of that big tower in Jerusalem? What did he ask Jesus to do? Do you remember that one?
I think he said for him to jump down.
I don't think I taught her that Bible story yet.
That is quite okay.
My lack of parenting has been manifested.
That is okay. My son probably knows more about Magic School Bus in the Bible at this point.
Magic
but
School Bus is good.
It is
Don't
good.
pick it.
So we just
All right.
But so here's
back to Catherine.
So Catherine, in the Bible, the devil once took Jesus on top of a big tower and said, "Hey, if you're God's son, prove it. Jump off. And if you really are God's son, he won't let anything bad happen to you, because the Bible says that angels will catch you and won't let you dash your foot against a stone." So there we see a reference to angels that would protect Jesus, would minister to him. So I think it's safe that we can safely assume that angels were put in charge of protecting Jesus. They helped him. The Bible says angels ministered to him, and one of them may have been dedicated to him as a guardian angel. So I hope that answers your question. And you can always ask your dad. I bet he has a few thoughts on this as well.
Catherine, is that a good answer for you?
Yes.
Catherine, I don't think I asked you how old you are. How old are you, Catherine?
5.
5. Well, you did a great job. Your daddy should be very, very proud of you, and I can see him right now. He is very proud of you.
Good job, sweetheart. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you. Bye-bye,
See
Catherine.
you in a few hours.
By the way, after this hour, next hour is the game show, the big Christmas edition of the Catholic Answers game show, and our super secret guest is Carlo Broussard, so hang on for that. Thanks for coming in to say hello to Catherine, Carlo.
Thanks for inviting me.
Did you
Good
know
job,
why-
Horn.
Did you know why I
Appreciate
was
it,
telling
buddy.
you to come in here?
Thanks for catechizing my child, brother.
Thanks for bringing her in here.
Doing
No
my
problem.
job for me.
You're doing just fine.
Let's go to Shane in Ohio next. Shane, thank you so much for calling. What is your question for Trent Horn?
My question is, why does the Father put water in the wine?
Oh, do you mean at Mass?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Why does the Father put water in the wine at Mass, Trent
Sure.
Horn?
What's called mingling of water with wine, that what we do at Mass, there's a lot of symbols in Mass that help point us towards bigger spiritual truths that always remind us about God and his love for us, and how he became man and died for us, how he rose from the dead and now is present in the Eucharist. So ever since in the very early church, priests would mingle or put water in the wine before they would sell, during Mass, before it became the blood of Christ when it's consecrated. And the reason for that is it's a symbol of the incarnation. When God, who is a fully divine nature, when God became man, he sort of mingled, if you will, that God entered into human nature and assumed a human nature, so the human nature would never be the same again. There, in the 3rd century, there was a bishop in North Africa. His name was Saint Cyprian, and this is what he says about it. He said, "Because Christ bore us all, in that he bore our sins, we see that by the water people are signified, while in the wine, indeed, the blood of Christ is shown. And when the water is mixed with the wine in the cup, the people are made one with Christ, and the multitude of believers is coupled and joined to him in whom it believes." So the water mixing with wine is a symbol of God becoming man, and it also reflects how we as human beings are united to Christ. Like in John 15, Jesus says, "I am the vine, you are the branches, abide or remain in me," that we want to be united to Christ because Christ chose to be united with us by becoming man. So is that helpful for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Shane, our assistant producer Marie wants to send you a present for that very, very fine call, and I think she's got your address already. But we'll just hang on, and she'll confirm that with you. We appreciate your call very, very much. Wow, it's exciting to see all. This isn't even half of the kids associated with Catholic Answers, and it was just great. To
I
see
know.
everybody
I was
here.
hoping my kids take their nap. They always take it right about now, so I don't know if they were up. But I asked Matthew, he'll be 4 in January, "Do you want to come to Daddy's work and ask him questions?"
Yeah.
He said, "No, I have a meeting at work today. How about I come and then you ask me questions?" So
Good for
And then as
Matthew.
I left the house, he said, Hey, can you take my cell phone check my emails before work?
Did
Yes,
he
I can.
really?
He always wants me
He's-
to check his emails before work.
Wow, good for him.
He's ready to take this seat in a few years.
Well, good, very, very good. Some of these these others who came in here today, I think, are
We
ready
kept the
as
tradition.
well.
It was Catholic Answers, and we had a Staples in this chair for at least like 45 minutes. So the tradition lives on.
Hey, when we go to break, why don't you guys turn that camera around so all these kids can wave
Yeah,
to the internets, and we'll get Carlo Broussard in here because we're about to start do you know this is the very first Christmas edition of the Catholic Answers
Can't wait.
quiz show? Coming right up with Carlo Broussard right after. Are they all waving? There they go. They're all
There they
waving.
are. Wave,
into
everybody.
All right. Well, Merry Christmas to you. Thanks to all the kids who called. Thank you to Trent Horn.
Thank you, Cy
You
Kellett.
can find out all about Trent Horn by going to TrentHornPodcast.com. Up next, our super secret celebrity guest from Louisiana will be here for the Catholic Answers Christmas game show.
This is Bishop James Conley of the Diocese of Lincoln. Keep it right here on Catholic Answers Live.
Christmas is coming, and with Advent already upon us, we want to make sure you know about our annual Christmas sale with hundreds of great faith-building resources all on sale at 20% off when you enter promo code CALIVE18 at checkout. With great new resources by Jimmy Akin, Trent Horn, Christopher Check, and other great Catholic teachers, there's simply no better time to stock up on resources to build up your faith and the faith of those around you. Phone 888-291-8000 or go to shop.catholic.com right now to take advantage of what is truly the best Catholic sale on the internet, going on now through the end of the year. And remember, enter promo code CALIVE18 at checkout to save 20% on hundreds of great resources throughout the store.
As Catholics, we hear expressions like dogma, doctrine, deposit of faith, and of course, magisterium. And adding to the confusion, we have the ordinary magisterium and the extraordinary magisterium. So what if you were looking for one book written for the layman that explained what all these terms mean and how they interact in the lives of the Church and her faithful? The fact is, no such book existed until now. Brand new from Catholic Answers Press is Jimmy Akin's latest book, Teaching with Authority. Teaching with Authority is not about specific church teachings, it's about church teaching itself. A unique and long overdue resource for Catholics as well as those inquiring about the faith, Teaching with Authority will help deepen your understanding of what the Church teaches by showing you how, why, and where she does. Get your copy of Teaching with Authority today by calling 1-888-291-8000, logging onto the shop at Catholic.com, or asking for it at a good Catholic bookstore near you.
Why did God employ prophets in Scripture? How can we interpret symbolic biblical prophecies and recognize their fulfillment? What about prophecies from Jesus and Revelation that foretell persecution, calamity, and the end of the world? In 20 Answers Bible Prophecy, you'll find smart, solid answers to these questions and many more, cutting through the confusion and presenting the basic scope of scriptural prophecy in a way that anyone can understand. 20 Answers Bible Prophecy is part of the 20 Answers series from Catholic Answers, offering hard facts, powerful arguments, and clear explanations of the most important topics facing the Church and the world, all in a compact, easy-to-read package. Visit shop.catholic.com today and take a look at this exciting series from Catholic Answers Press.
Have you subscribed to the Catholic Answers Radio Club newsletter? This is Catholic Answers Live host Cy Kellett, and I want to tell you about our new weekly newsletter full of behind-the-scenes information and facts you need to know about the show. It's easy to sign up. Just visit CatholicAnswersLive.com and look for the newsletter sign-up box on the front of the page. It's a great way to keep up to date with what's happening with the show and see what's coming in the days ahead, delivered weekly into your inbox. Sign up today for the Catholic Answers Radio Club newsletter and see what you've been missing. Go to CatholicAnswersLive.com.
With the recent commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the release of Humanae Vitae, there have been fresh attacks on Catholic teaching from outside and, unfortunately, inside the Church. That's why Catholic Answers thought it critical to provide a vigorous affirmation of Paul VI's prophetic wisdom with our newest book, Inseparable: 5 Perspectives on Sex, Life, and Love in Defense of Humanae Vitae. We asked 5 distinguished contributors to reflect on and defend Humanae Vitae from 5 perspectives, each of them compelling, together forming a mosaic of truth. Don't be caught uninformed when the topic of contraception comes up among friends, family, and co-workers. Order your copy of Inseparable today by calling 1-888-291-8000 or visiting the shop at Catholic.com.
Oh, yeah. That's not the usual Catholic Answers music. That's the game show music. It's not Christmas music either, but hey, what the heck? It's still a Christmas game show. Nick does the best he can.
Ho, ho, ho.
He had to edit 14 shows today to get them ready for the pre-records that will run Christmas week and all that stuff. We're so delighted to have you here with us. I am Cy Kellett, your game show host this hour, joined in studio right now by our super top secret celebrity guest, Carlo Broussard. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Cy?
Not much, but I should say this. Carlo's the author of Prepare the Way, Overcoming Obstacles to God, the Gospel,
That's
and
right.
the Church. He just recorded a few focus episodes with me this morning. We talked about relativism.
Yeah,
so,
we were geeking out, man.
We were indeed. My brain is still hurting, but I think I can make it through. And the game show pits, I shouldn't say pits, but we have 2 contestants that will contest with one another
There you go.
for a fabulous room full of gifts and prizes. They are called Contestant 1 and Contestant 2, but they have real names. They are just Contestant 1 and Contestant 2 based on the order that their names were drawn out of a box today. That the fact that one is number 1 and one is number 2 only comes into play in the event of a tie after the first 2 rounds, which has only happened once, I think. So contestant number 1 is, are you there with us, contestant number 1?
I am here, Cy.
And what are you called and what's interesting about you?
Well, my name is Julie, and I'm a convert to Catholicism, and I love learning about the faith.
Fantastic, Julie. Happy to have you here with us. And contestant number 2, are you there with us?
Yes, I'm here.
And what do you go by and what's interesting about you?
My name is Ken, and I restore old cars. We work on mostly pre-World War II cars.
Wow.
And I'm also a Catholic apologist. I'm a cradle Catholic, but I just started learning more about the faith in the last 5 years.
Amen to that.
Okay, wait a second. You're a Catholic apologist. How do you feel about that, Julie, that we have pulled out of a box the name of a Catholic apologist to contest against you?
Well, I'm going to have to up my game, and I do have Lifeline.
Oh, that's true. You do have lifelines.
Amen
Okay,
to
that's a
that.
perfect signal for me to go through the rules. Here's how the game, there are 3 rounds to the Catholic Answers game show. The first 2 rounds are multiple choice questions. Each contestant has 2, we call them salvation lines. We might even give you 3, I don't know, because it's Christmas time. I mean, it's not the Christmas season, but it's coming up on Christmas. I might give you a 3rd one.
The Christmas spirit is in the air.
There definitely is a Christmas spirit in the air, especially because we have cookies and chocolate milk here.
And in this case, on the radio waves.
So each round of the first 2 rounds, each contestant will get 3 multiple choice questions. You have 2 what are called salvation lines that you can use. And Carlo will help you with either one of those. The second round is also 3 multiple choice questions. So probably the way I should have said it is a total of 6 multiple choice questions in the first 2 rounds. And once you use up one of your salvation lines, it is gone for both rounds. So if you use it in the first round, it won't be available to you in the second round. If you save it, it will be available to you in the second round. The 2 salvation lines, as we call them. One is you can ask Carlo to eliminate one wrong answer from the 3 multiple choice answers you'll be given. The other salvation line you have is you can just ask Carlo to give you the answer. Is that clear to everybody?
Do I have to do it in Pig
Oh,
Latin?
wait a second.
Or
He's
did
not
you do
just
away
going
with that?
No, I didn't do away with that. I just was waiting to see what your reaction would be. But when he gives you the answer, he will have to give it to you in Pig Latin. So, Julie and Ken, you comfortable with those rules?
Oh, that works.
All right. At the end of 2 rounds, whoever has gotten the most right out of 6 will proceed on to round 3. If there's a tie, we will use the boxes that are on the desk in front of us, A and B. We'll have Julie, because she's contestant number 1, pick A or B. And whatever it says inside of that box, that is what will happen. One of you will go on, and one of you will leave with a magnificent gift. In the third round, we call Final Judgment. It is 7 true or false questions that you'll get to go to. Everybody ready to start?
I'm ready.
All right. Guess who's not ready? Where are my questions? I know they're around here somewhere. Okay, here they are. I am ready to go now. Julie, you are contestant number 1. This is round 1. Your first question is, which gospel? Oh, by the way, there's going to be a Christmas theme to all this. Which gospel mentions the Magi or Magi? Is it A, Matthew, B, Mark, C, Luke?
A, Matthew.
Ding, correct. Good job.
Nice job. And who are these people, Carlo?
Well, I was afraid you would ask me that question.
So you prepared.
Because it's a difficult answer to try and answer. It's difficult to try and answer that question. So, Magi, coming from the Greek word there, which simply means a wise man, it can also be used in the sense of a sorcerer or some sort. So it has a wide range of meanings, from something that's positive to something that's negative. But Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, in his book, Jesus of Nazareth, the infancy narratives in that particular volume, he has a section where he reflects upon who these wise men may have been. And the common understanding is that they probably were some sort of members of the Persian priestly caste, or if not direct priests or members of the Persian priesthood. Nevertheless, as Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI points out, custodians of religious and philosophical knowledge that had developed in that area, and they continued to cultivate at that time. So that's, it's ambiguous. We don't have a definitive answer to that question, but that's sort of where scholars lean, the direction in which scholars lean.
All right. Contestant number 2, you are up next, and your first question, that's Ken, by the way, contestant number 2. Your first question, which gospel, Ken, begins with the words, "In the beginning was the Word"? Is it A, Luke, B, Mark, or C, John?
C, John.
Very good, Ken. Now, follow-up question, John. Can you cite, this is not for points, by the way, but think about where is it in the Bible where it says in the beginning, in John? What chapter, which verse? Chapter 1, verse 1. So for all our listeners out there that can go and check it out, John chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
There's another book where that starts with the words "in the beginning."
That is correct.
All right.
And that book would be?
Genesis.
There you go.
There you go. Sorry, no points. No points.
Good job, kid.
All right, back to Julie. Julie, your second question of round 1. The Gospel of Luke begins with A, the story of John the Baptist's origins. B, the story of Jesus' origins. Or C, a note to a guy named Theophilus.
It begins with the birth of John the Baptist's origin.
Oops.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Theophilus part. Okay,
That's
yeah.
right. You got it. You got it. It's the Theophilus. Yeah. So Theophilus, it's possible, Si, that Luke is not writing the gospel for a single person, Theophilus, named Theophilus. It was current fashion of dedicating literary works to some distinguished personage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible Luke is doing that, but as far as who he is, all we can garner from the evidence, the little evidence that we have, he's already a Christian, right? The title, Most Excellent Theophilus, indicates that probably an imperial official of the Roman administration. And his name means the beloved of God, and some have said that is possible a fictitious personage symbolizing the Gentile Christian, a Gentile Christian or Gentile Christians as a whole. But there is a strong case to be made that it is a particular person named Theophilus. So
it's a very fortunate name if it is a particular person to start a gospel with the name Theophilus.
Yeah, amen. Which means beloved of God.
All right, Ken, your second question of round 1 is as follows. Why does Joseph bring Jesus and Mary back from Egypt to Israel? A, an angel appears to him in a dream and tells him to. B, Herod has died and now it is safe for Jesus. C, both of these.
I would say B.
Oh,
well, Ken,
It's both.
It's both. That's right. And the first one was the angel appears and says, and in the dream, and tells him, right? And the reason why the angel is telling him to do so was because Herod died and it's safe for Jesus.
As a matter of fact, I think what the angel says is Herod has died. And
that's right. Yeah, this is in Matthew chapter 2, verses 19 through 23.
Yep.
And that is exactly what the angel tells him.
All right, we're a little more than halfway through round 1. Julie and Ken are our contestants. This is the Christmas edition of the Catholic Answers Game Show. We'll take a quick break and be right back to finish round 1 right after this.
This is Bishop Robert Baer, and you're listening to Catholic Answers Live.
I'm Jeanette DeMello, Editor-in-Chief of the National Catholic Register and co-host of Register Radio with Matthew Bunson. Join us every week as we talk with the Register's expert writers and editors about the news you need to know and offer authentic Catholic insights on the important stories that impact your life. Register Radio, every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern and Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, here on EWTN Global Catholic Radio.
We have a big problem. Our culture is dying, and souls are in danger of being lost. The answer is conversion to Jesus Christ in His church. St. Paul Street Evangelization is a Catholic organization, and we have hundreds of teams spreading the good news throughout the country. But we need your help. The harvest is great, but the laborers are few. Find out more and get involved today at streetevangelization.com. That's streetevangelization.com.
Yeah. Catholic Answers Game Show. I'm Cy Kellett, your Christmas game show host. Joined in studio and listening to the dulcet tones of Carlo Broussard. Hi, Carlo. Ken and Julie are our contestants. Each has done 2 questions. We are currently tied. We go to Julie, to your question number 3, your last question of round 1. Neither of you has used a lifeline yet, or a salvation line, as I keep forgetting to call them. So you can save them or use them, but the round 2, they will still be available to you if you don't use them this time. Julie, your third question of round 2 is, which 2 people receive visits from the angel Gabriel in the New Testament? Which 2 people receive visits from the angel Gabriel in the New Testament? A, Mary and Joseph. B, Mary and Zechariah. C, Zechariah and Elizabeth.
B, Mary and Zechariah.
Nice. I'm impressed. I kind of thought that people might go with Mary and Joseph.
Yeah.
But it was indeed Mary and Zechariah. Tell us about that, Carlo.
Yeah, so Julie she hit the nail on the head, because in the Gospels, when it speaks of the angel appearing to to Joseph, it never tells us which angel
Right.
is appearing to Joseph. It just says an angel appears. But angel Gabriel specifically appears both to Zechariah and Mary. To Zechariah in Luke 1 through 24. That's the whole narrative there. And then Mary, of course, at the Annunciation in Luke 1, 26 through 38. So kudos to you, Julie. Praise God. That was an awesome answer.
Nice job, Julie. Ken, your final question, your third question of round one is as follows. Which gospel includes, am I reading the right question now, Nick? Just keep me on track, okay? Which gospel includes these words? For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Is that the gospel of A, Matthew, B, Luke, C, no gospel includes these words?
I'd like to use a lifeline.
All right, which lifeline would you like to use?
The correct answer in Pig Latin.
Nice. The correct
man.
answer in Pig Latin from Carlo Bucci. This is pretty much my favorite time of the month when this comes around. Once a month we do this show, and then Carlo has to say stuff in Pig
Okay,
Latin.
so this was going to be an easy one for you, Ken, because there's a multiplicity of verbiage here. One, ospelge, includesie, hisete, ord's way.
That was the best Pig Latin he's ever done. That was brilliant, Carlo. You've been
Thank you very
practicing.
much. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
so was it A, Matthew, was it B, Luke, or was it C, no gospel includes these words?
Boy, I'm going to go with C.
You scared me there for a minute,
you had
Ken.
me worried there, kid.
All right, Ken, for 0 bonus points, do you know where that does appear?
No.
Well, maybe a easier question would be maybe perhaps which prophet do you think says those words? Isaiah or Jeremiah? Isaiah.
Isaiah has the most.
There you go. Yeah.
He's the great prophet of the Messiah.
Yeah,
is
Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. So for our listeners out there, they can check it out. It is interesting. Notice there, it says mighty God, and it's referring to the Messiah. So there we have a hint in the Old Testament prophecies of the divinity of the Messiah. So that's something that Christian apologists often appeal to in order to establish some biblical basis for even this Old Testament tradition of the Messiah being divine.
Think Paul ever used that line when he was arguing in the synagogue?
That's a good question. It's not found in his writings. He
No,
doesn't
but-
appeal to it, you
Right.
know. But you wonder if he may have appealed to that.
Okay, so we are on to round 2. After one round, Marie, correct me if I am wrong, it is tied up. Both have 2 correct answers. All right, contestant number 1, Julie, has 2 correct. Contestant number 2, Ken, has 2 correct. We go now to round 2. And you can continue to use your lifelines. Those that are left to you, you may continue to use in this round. Contestant 1, Julie, your first question. The church teaches that Mary is... Oh, by the way, Mary's super important to Christmas, so I put a whole bunch of Marian questions in here in round 2. As a matter of fact, without Mary...
Yahoo.
I don't know if you know this. Without Mary, no Christmas. So little trivia for you there. So, Julie, the church teaches that Mary is A, the mother of Jesus, but not the mother of the second person of the Trinity. B, the mother of God. C, the mother of the second person of the Trinity, but not of Jesus.
The church teaches that Mary is B, the mother of God.
Wow, that was very confident the way that you...
Amen. Good
She is
job,
indeed the mother of
Julie.
God.
Yep.
How is that, Carlo?
That's
How
very
can a
good
human woman be the mother of God?
She is the mother of God inasmuch as Jesus is God. So although she's not the source of his divine nature, so we're not saying she's divine, nor is she even the source of Jesus's human soul, for that's That requires the direct action of Almighty God. But she is mother of Jesus, the mother of a person. The person who was born of Mary is the second person of the Blessed Trinity. And so consequently, we refer to her as the mother of God, which Elizabeth says in Luke 1:43, who am I that the mother of my Lord should come to me? Now, somebody might say, well, Lord can be used for some earthly king or earthly potentate, and so that's possibly how Elizabeth is using the term Lord there. But when you look at the visitation narrative, parallel to the narrative concerning the Ark of the Covenant and David in 2 Samuel chapter 6, David says almost verbatim, who am I that the Ark of my Lord should come into my presence?
Little hint who the Lord is there.
Yeah, a hint who the Lord is. And Luke clearly, when you look at the details of the narratives, is drawing a parallel to that event. And so thus it's reasonable to conclude that when Elizabeth says, who am I that the mother of my Lord should come to me, she's using Lord in the divine sense, not merely in an earthly sense.
I always like what Tim Staples says about we confess Mary as the mother of God because we don't ever want to deny Jesus is God. This is part. This is not to try to make Mary equal with.
No. It's a simple question.
Yeah.
Who did Mary give birth to?
God.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Who and what is Jesus? He's the second person of the Blessed Trinity, therefore divine. So very simple.
All right. Contestant number 2, Ken, your first question of round 2. The church teaches that Mary was A, conceived without sin, B, saved by Jesus, C, both of these.
See both of them.
Oh, good job,
They know their
Ken.
Marian dogmas.
That's right. You weren't able to trip them up on that one, Si.
No.
I think it's important for our listeners to know that Ken, in as much as Ken is affirming that Mary, even though conceived without sin, was indeed saved by Jesus, and because many of our Protestant brothers and sisters will get tripped up from Luke 1:47, where Mary in her Magnificat rejoices in God, her Savior.
Yeah.
Right? And on supposition that she's referring to eternal salvation there, because some can argue that she's referring to a temporal form of salvation.
Okay.
But even if we grant she's referring to this idea of being saved from sin, we are saved from sin after the fact. But as the church teaches, she was saved from sin before the fact, in anticipation of the cross of Jesus Christ. As Pope Pius IX, when he defined the Immaculate Conception in 1854, defined it as, in light of the foreseen merits of Jesus' death on the cross. And you can read about this as well in paragraphs 492 and 411 in the Catechism of the Catholic Church.
I don't remember who the saint was, but I always like the example of if you fall in a ditch, someone can save you by pulling you out. But if you haven't fallen in yet, someone can save you by warning you or protecting you.
Protecting you from going and from falling into the pit, correct.
Nice job, both of you, on these Marian questions.
Amen.
I got a lot more Mary for you, though, because don't forget that Mary is central to Christmas. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about getting a bumper sticker that says, keep Mary in Christmas. You know how they have the ones that say, keep Christ in Christmas?
And the reason why we keep Mary in Christmas is in order to keep Jesus
Christ. Yeah,
in
amen.
Christmas. Amen.
Right. All right, so your second question, Julie, is... it's on my computer, which is glitching a little bit, and so I'm vamping for a moment here while I find somebody. Go. Can you read it? Just read it.
Okay. All right. So this is for Julie, correct?
Yeah.
All right, Julie, here we go. Mary calls Joseph Jesus's A, foster father, B, guardian, or C, father.
I'm going to use a salvation line on this one.
Okay, salvation line, Si.
Okay, so you have two salvation lines. You can either have Carlo eliminate one of the two wrong answers, or you can ask Carlo to just give you the correct answer, but he will have to do so in Pig Latin.
Oh, definitely Pig Latin.
Here we go. Ig pe adonle.
Okay, here we go. All right, let me buck up here. Atherphe. I did it. That was pretty good, Si.
All right, so the answers, your choices are foster father. That's what Mary calls Joseph, the foster father of Jesus, or B, guardian, or C, father.
B, father.
Amen. C, father. She got it right.
Why do all these people always say, Joseph is the foster father? Mary, where did she ever say that Joseph is Jesus' father?
In Luke 1:48, "Son, why have you treated us so? Behold, your father and I have been looking for you anxiously." So that's the terminology that Mary uses.
All right, Ken, your question number 2. Congratulations, Julie, by the way. Ken, your question number 2. What follows Mary's declaration, "May it be done unto me according to your word"? A, the Immaculate Conception. B, her betrothal to Joseph. C, the incarnation of God.
A.
Uh-oh.
No, unfortunately, Ken, that is the incorrect answer. The Immaculate Conception refers to when Mary was conceived without original sin. The question is concerning when the angel Gabriel comes to Mary and says, "Hey, Mary, you want to bear the Son of the living God, the Messianic King?" And then Mary responds and says, "May it be done unto me according to your word." And thus, we assume, and here's a very interesting detail, Cy. I was kind of skeptical about your question here, if it would trip someone up, because the Bible never tells us that the incarnation, where the second person of the Blessed Trinity assumes a human nature, right, happens immediately at that moment.
Yes, but
the Bible doesn't say it explicitly. But we assume that the incarnation of God would have taken place at that moment or sometime thereafter, perhaps.
Right. Fair enough. Okay, back to round 2. Question number 3 for Julie. Julie, which of the following is not a Marian dogma?
Emphasize not.
Okay. So we're looking for the 1 out of 3 that's not a Marian dogma. A, perpetual virginity. B, Immaculate Conception. C, ascension into heaven.
The ascension into heaven, she was assumed.
Oh, Julie is bad.
Woo, good job, Julie.
I tried to read it really fast so you might not hear it. Like, ascension into heaven. What's the difference between ascension and assumption, Carlo?
Yeah, well, ascension connotes the Jesus ascending into heaven by his own power. When we speak of Mary being assumed into heaven, it connotes the idea that God is assuming her. She's not going up by her own power, but God is bringing her up into heaven.
All right, we got to finish round 2 when we come back, because you can hear that music. That means we got to take a break. So your final question of round 2, Ken, when we come back to the Catholic Answers Christmas Edition game show right after this.
This is Archbishop Paul Coakley of the Archdiocese of Oklahoma City, and you're listening to Catholic Answers Live.
Advent is upon us and Christmas approaches. Catholic Answers wants you to know about our annual Christmas sale with hundreds of great faith-building resources all on sale at 20% off when you enter the promo code CALIVE18 at checkout. With great new products on doctrine, church history, morality, apologetics, and much more, there's simply no better time to stock up on resources to build up your faith and the faith of those around you. Phone 888-291-8000 or go to shop.catholic.com today to take advantage of what is truly the best Catholic sale on the internet going on now through the end of the year. And remember, enter promo code CALIVE18 at checkout and save 20% on hundreds of great resources throughout the store.
With the recent commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the release of Humani Vitae, there have been fresh attacks on Catholic teaching from outside and unfortunately inside the Church. That's why Catholic Answers thought it critical to provide a vigorous affirmation of Pope Paul VI's prophetic wisdom with our newest book, Inseparable: 5 Perspectives on Sex, Life, and Love in Defense of Humani Vitae. We asked 5 distinguished contributors to reflect on and defend Humani Vitae from 5 perspectives, each of them compelling, together forming a mosaic of truth. Don't be caught uninformed when the topic comes up among friends, family, and coworkers. Order your copy of Inseparable today by calling 1-888-291-8000 or by visiting the shop at Catholic.com.
Monday on More to Life, the life you were meant to live.
We'll look at how the theology of the body can help you live a more abundant life.
Now back to Catholic Answers Live.
Welcome back. Catholic Answers Live, Christmas edition game show. We're about in the middle of it right now. It's Julie against Ken. And all the questions are, well, they're all Catholic questions, but they're pretty Christmassy. They all have some connection to Christmas.
This is calling to mind our game show that we had at our Founders Circle, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got to host the game show at the Founders Circle. That was, let me just say this.
I love these Catholic games.
Ken and Julie are like saints. It's like talking to the Holy Family compared to running a game show with apologists playing against one another. That was a nightmare. That was horrifying.
Indeed. We almost had a few fists thrown, right?
It was not good, let me tell you. I had to do some repair work with Tim Staples
Tim
after that.
Staples ready. Take off the gloves, man.
I know. So, Julie and Ken, thank you for being far more humane than the apologists here. Ken, your final question of round 2. Who's greeting, quote, greatly troubled, end quote, Mary? Who's greeting greatly troubled Mary? A, Zechariah, B, the shepherds, C, Gabriel.
Who's greeting greatly troubled Mary? Oh, Gabriel's greeting.
Very good. There you go, Ken. That is correct. And you can find that in Luke chapter 1, verse 29. The interesting question there is why? Because he comes and says, "Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with you." To which she responds, or we're told that the saying greatly troubled her. So the question is, why did this address of Gabriel greatly trouble her? And I find it fascinating that some Bible scholars have suggested that phrase, "the Lord is with you," whenever it's used throughout salvation history in the Old Testament, it's always when there's some sort of manifestation where God, there's a revelation that a great mission is being bestowed upon an individual, where the fate of God's people is dependent upon how they respond, right? And that phrase is always there in the midst of it, like the Lord is going to be with you. The Lord's going to see you through it. The Lord is with you. Right?
Yeah, right.
We see that a few, like 5 or 6 times in the Old Testament. So some have suggested that Mary, being the good Jewish girl that she is, knowing what is said whenever this great mission is being bestowed upon somebody. And so the angel comes and says, "The Lord is with you." So she's immediately calling to mind, oh no, this is like a super awesome mission being bestowed upon me, and the fate of God's people is dependent upon how I'm going to respond.
Yeah.
So you could imagine a 15, 16-year-old girl thinking that she would be troubled in some way by that, right?
Yeah.
That's one suggestion. I'm sure there are others out there, but I find that interesting.
Fair enough. Marie, I'm going to need you to tell me the score. Have you tallied it up? Okay, so Julie has how many points? And Ken has how many points? I'm getting hand signals here.
Come on, man. You're keeping us in suspense.
Julie has 5. Ken has 4. Congratulations, Julie. You will go on to your final judgment coming up here in a moment. Ken, we have to say thank you and send you away.
Good job, Julie.
With a beautiful, beautiful gift.
Thank you, Ken. You too.
God bless you, Ken.
Ken, we're going to send you Carlo Broussard's book, Prepare the Way, Overcoming Obstacles to God, the Gospel, and the Church, and anything else that Marie feels like throwing in the box.
I hope you enjoy it, Ken.
Yes, it was a lot of fun, and thank you guys for putting this on.
Well, thank you for being here, Ken, and Merry Christmas to you and all yours. Once again, we don't have to use the tie boxes, so we can take those off of the Julie,
hideous polka dot boxes.
You knew a lot about Mary, Julie.
I love Mary.
I'm so glad to hear.
I'm Catholic.
Mary's the reason you're Catholic. Tell us a little bit about that. What does that mean?
Well, I had the audacity to pray the rosary as a Protestant, and somehow it's, Catholicism is true. How about that?
Oh, I see.
Once I started praying the rosary, like a switch went off in my brain, and
wow,
all those apologetics that I dismissed suddenly made sense.
Beautiful.
She has a tendency to bring people to Jesus. I've noticed that about our Heavenly Mother.
And even those who are with Jesus, she brings them even closer.
Right, including the apostles.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Julie, when were you received fully into the Catholic Church?
Easter Vigil, 2016 at St. Joseph Parish in Wenatchee, Washington.
Oh my goodness gracious, Julie, in Wenatchee, Washington.
Hi,
I was there for 4 years. So apparently you know me. Do I know you?
Well, I know who you are.
Oh, you're Julie. Oh, I think I remember who you are now.
That is so weird. That is wild. Julie, I don't think we can give you any prizes because you have a connection to somebody here at Catholic Answers. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to let you go. Thanks for playing, Julie. Goodbye.
I can't remember. I can't remember your last name, but do we give last names on here?
She can if she wants. It's up to her. But I wouldn't give my last name on here.
Okay,
so
it's Lolo, so Julie
yes.
Lolo. And our son was in the karate with your son.
That's right. Fantastic. I know exactly.
I think Ken got ripped off. I think we need to get Ken back here. This is a total inside job.
Now it makes sense why Julie.
Oh, a lot's starting to make
answering
sense. A
these
lot's starting to make sense. I think we need a special prosecutor to look into this.
Because Julie, let me tell you something. Julie is a sharp knife in the kitchen.
Well, we'll
friend.
find out because it's time for Julie's final judgment. 7 true or false questions, Julie, and each true or false question has the potential to win you a prize. I don't know what the prizes are because Marie has not put the list up for me. She's going to do that. I know she's going to put the list up for me. Oh, I just get to give away whatever I want. Okay, fair enough. I'm just trying to motivate Marie to do it. And so each question that you get correct, you will get the prize that was named before I asked you the question. And if you get all 7 correct, you also get a $50 credit at shop.catholic.com. $50 credit at shop.catholic.com. All of this is pending the outcome of the investigation of the special prosecutor into the tampering that has gone on here.
Well, I remember right before we left Wenatchee to come here to Southern California for me to start working here at Catholic Answers, Julie was just starting to inquire about the faith, had entered into the RCIA program, was starting to listen to Catholic radio, which, thanks be to God for the good work of my friend John Haberman and Dale Peterson and all the work that they do to have Catholic radio there. And so she was just starting to enter into that journey as we left. So it's great to hear, Julie, that the Lord saw you through crossing that I guess the starting line here, right, to begin this journey of Catholicism.
So
amen. Thank you, Carlo.
All right.
Amen, Julie. Before I start, can I just ask you this? Did Carlo leaving help you to come into the Catholic Church? I'm sorry, that was not a fair question. All right, question number 1. You are playing for that's what I was going to say. Inseparable, 5 perspectives on sex, life, and love in defense of Humanae Vitae. For Chris Check and I, we both picked this as the book of the year, and I'm delighted that you have an opportunity to win it. It's I have to say, Carlo, when I first got it, it's a Catholic Answers book, and when I first got it, I thought, okay, a book on contraception, I'll read it and we'll see what it says, but it's just magnificent. It's so far beyond
well done,
just being a book on contraception. So, Julie, your question, true or false? Constantine started the celebration of Christmas as a Christianized version of a Roman pagan holiday.
That is false.
That is correct, Julie Lolos.
Julie, you get you have won so far a copy of Inseparable: 5 Perspectives on Sex, Life, and Love in Defense of Humanae Vitae. Congratulations. Question number 2. Oh, Marie, I know what's going on. Assistant producer Marie came in to make sure that I had found the list. But it is such a Christmas spirit around here. Merry Christmas, everybody. Julie, question number 2. You're playing for Made This Way, Layla Miller's brand new book that just came out this year on helping kids with the toughest moral issues get them answers to the toughest moral issues. Trent Horn also has his name on that book, although I am told Layla Miller did all the hard work. Julie, true or false? Jesus was probably not born in the year 1 AD.
That's true. He probably wasn't born in that year.
Very good.
Carlo, when do you think he was born? What year?
Yeah,
Got any-
well, this is an interesting question because for some time, many scholars were putting forth the idea that perhaps Jesus was born around 6 BC, 6 BC, given the dating of certain things and using the calendar, that we use today and stuff. But it's probably true that he was more likely born around 2 or 3 BC.
Yeah.
In light of the calculations, and our colleague and friend Jimmy Akin has a great series of posts on this topic. Where Jimmy's just like a surgeon, man, just fine tuning and just precise. And you can search that in Google, the dating of Christmas, and that's at jimmyakin.com. And then he has the series of posts there listed as a roundup.
All right, Julie, you're still in running for the grand prize because thus far, no wrong questions in your final judgment. I hope your real final judgment goes as well, Julie. Question number 3, you're playing for the book Behold Your Mother, a biblical and historical defense of the Marian doctrines. That's the very fine and much lauded book from Tim Staples. True or false, Julie? Jesus' human soul was created out of nothing at the moment of his conception.
Human soul. Now, do I still have any lifelines left?
You do not. We don't allow lifelines into the final. But I'll tell you what. It's Christmas. It's Christmas time. Christmas is coming.
Can I just say this? That Julie, you were thinking on the right path. You emphasized the correct idea there. Jesus' human soul was that created.
Since our human souls are created at the moment of our conception, I would have to say that Jesus' human soul was created at the moment of his conception.
You go, Julie.
Amen to that, sister.
So there you go. Now you want another book. Behold Your Mother. You got 3 books so far. You got 4 questions to go. As you answer each question correctly, we're going to give you the book. But if you get all 7 correct, you also get a $50 credit at shop.catholic.com. We have to take a quick break. I will let you know that the listener, that if you go to the Catholic Answers Facebook page right now, you can download a free copy of the ebook Seeking the Star of Bethlehem. It's not at the Catholic Answers page or webpage. It's at the Catholic Answers Facebook page, Seeking the Star of Bethlehem. Free ebook available right now.
Hang on. We'll be right back with more Catholic Answers Live.
Listeners to Catholic Radio, I think, benefit most, at least initially, from what I call remedial catechesis. What Catholic Radio does is it becomes an echo chamber for the teaching authority of the Catholic Church. And what we're doing is teaching many things which have been neglected over the last 40, 50 years. If you listen to Catholic Radio, you know what the Catholic Church teaches.
Al Cresta thinks Catholic Radio is important. So should you.
Homeschool Connections, an online provider of courses for your Catholic homeschool, is a sponsor of Catholic Answers Live. Homeschool Connections website is homeschoolconnections.com.
Catholic Answers Live is brought to you in part by CatholicSingles.com, the website for Catholics who want to meet others who share their faith and values for faith, fellowship, and love. You can learn more at CatholicSingles.com. Catholic Answers Live thanks CatholicSingles.com for their generous support.
Coming down to the final minutes of the Catholic Answers first annual Christmas edition of the Catholic Answers game show. I'm Cy Kellett, your host. Carlo Broussard is our guest. Julie is almost halfway through her final judgment here. So question number 4, and I will say I'm going to go with a little bit of speed now because I don't want to have it happen that we get to the end of the show and you haven't had all 7 questions asked. So the question number 4, you are playing for Why We're Catholic. That is the very, very popular book from Trent Horn. True or false, Simeon prophesied that the heart of Jesus would be pierced by a sword.
False, he prophesied that Mary's heart would be pierced by a sword.
Oh, dang. Don't ask a Marian woman a Marian question. If you did it. You got it. Why We're Catholic is yours now. You got 4 correct out of 7 thus far. And 3 to go, so you are still on track to pass your final judgment.
And that's in Luke 2:34, by the way.
Oh yeah, right. And then right after that, Anna, right? It's these two kind of very ecstatic people, characters, yeah, and they both recognize Jesus even in his infancy. Amen. By the grace of God, I imagine. Question number 5, you're playing for Jimmy Akin's brand new book, Teaching with Authority. Just came out within the last couple months, and the question is this: true or false? A strong tradition in the church is that the stable into which Jesus was born was a cave, and this is quite possible because there are many cave stables that date to Jesus' time.
That is true.
Amen to that.
That is true. You can
don't have much to say about that.
Because you can go on the internet and you can look up Bethlehem cave stables, and there they are. But I'm going to take this opportunity to recommend a very fine essay called The God in the Cave, where G.K. Chesterton makes the point that it's important and very significant that Jesus is born underground in a cave. He relates it to cavemen. He relates it to the tomb. It's a magnificent
piece of work. Does he talk about Plato's cave at all?
I don't think that he does talk
Plato's
about Plato's cave. Yeah, the allegory of the cave. Yeah, right. I don't think he does in that essay.
Interesting.
But that's in the book. Wait, which book is that? The Everlasting Man. Everlasting Man from G.K. Chesterton. By the way, Dale Ahlquist, the president of the G.K. Chesterton Club, he's going to be on next Wednesday.
Oh,
so if you like Chesterton, we'll have a great show with Dale Ahlquist. And I know it's great because we already did it. Okay, question number 6 for you, Julie. You're playing for The Fathers Know Best, Jimmy Akin's book on the church fathers, The Fathers Know Best. True or false? The presentation in the temple occurred 8 days after Jesus' birth.
That is false. It occurred 40 days after.
Everybody's freaking out in here, Julie. Good job, sister. Woo!
What is going on? Are you using some sort of supercomputer? You didn't hardly even flinch at that. Well, we all thought, this is the one. I mean, because in Luke's gospel, is it Luke's or Matthew's? Where Luke's gospel, they seem to happen boom, boom, right after one another. But wow, Julie, yes. What happened at 8 days?
He got circumcised.
You got circumcised.
He got circumcised.
Yeah, Julie hit the nail on the head. That comes from the Levitical law in Leviticus 12, verses 3 through 4. You see that for the male, you had after the 8 days, after the 8th day, where the male would be circumcised, there would be 33 more days of purification. So 40th, 41st, depending on how you count the days. 40th day, you would have the presentation. And then for the female, it would be later because it was 66 days after 2 weeks or something like that.
For question, congratulations, by the way.
That was fantastic.
You're killing it.
Julie, I wish you could have seen the studio in here. Whenever you answered, everybody just went, what?
That
was great.
It seemed like a really hard question to me.
Yeah.
And
somebody
Darren, you wrote that question, right? That came from the boss, Darren.
Oh, well, that's why he reacted so much.
Because I don't think he thought, you didn't think she was going to get it, did you? No. So
that's easy for somebody who's not attentive to the details there.
Myself included.
Could easily get tripped up on that question.
Right.
So that was a fantastic answer.
Right. All right, the last true or false question. And this one, you are playing for just one of the greatest books in the world. It's called Prepare the Way, Overcoming Obstacles to God, the Gospel, and the Church.
I'm so touched, Cy.
Yes.
We got
such kind words.
We got to add it to your list. It's written by the father of all the Broussard children. The husband of Jacqueline Broussard, the man himself, Carlo Broussard. So are you ready for this? We tried to give you a tough one.
I'm ready.
This is a tough one.
Okay.
And if you don't, by the way, so if you get this one now, because this is the last question on your final judgment, if you get this one, you get the book, the Carlo Broussard book, Prepare the Way, and you also will have gotten all 7 questions, so it also comes with a $50 credit at shop.catholic.com. True or false? I'm almost nervous to read this. I'm starting to...
I think you need to bring Tim Staples in here, man, because he loves this one.
Okay. Julie, true or false? Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. Now, Julie, take your time. Take your time on this.
Now, is this theology or popular culture?
Okay. You tell me, which way do you want to go? Theology or popular culture?
I want to go theology.
Oh, you want to go theology? Okay, so now you have you've narrowed the possibilities on this one. So, if in a theological sense, if you were to ask a theologian, does an angel get his wings when a bell rings? The answer that is true or false?
That is false because angels are spirits. They don't actually have physical parts.
Amen to that.
Hey, congratulations. Now let's do the pop culture one. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. Is that true or false in pop culture?
That's true.
And,
Absolutely true.
And why?
It might be true for you, might not be true for me.
You can't.
It's
No,
relative, man.
No, it's not all relative. It's because of what movie?
It's A Wonderful Life, I think.
Yep, It's a Wonderful Life. Clarence.
Clarence,
and all the,
man.
Julie, you are only the second person in the history of the Catholic Answers game show to have answered every single question of the Final Judgment correctly. It possibly helped you a little bit that we had that angel's wings question at the end, but you deserved it because of the presentation circumcision one.
Amen. That
Congratulations.
counted for 2.
I'm going to tell you everything you got, and then when you pick your jaw up off the floor, we'll say goodbye to you. You won Inseparable, the brand new book about contraception and the proper use of human sexuality that came out on the 50th anniversary of excuse me, I always say that wrong. Of Humanae Vitae this summer. You got Made This Way from Layla Miller with some cooperation from Trent Horn. You got Behold Your Mother from Tim Staples. Why We're Catholic from Trent Horn. Teaching with Authority from Jimmy Akin. The Fathers Know Best from Jimmy Akin. Prepare the Way, Overcoming Obstacles to God, the Gospel, and the Church from Carlo Broussard. And $50 to shop.catholic.com. How do you feel about that, Julie?
I am so thankful. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun, and I'm going to just love those resources, and I'm going to pass them around to my friends for the ones that I already have copies of.
Amen.
No, don't do that because we want them to buy them. So no.
And be sure to tell all those friends in Wenatchee that I said hi, Julie, and that I think about them often.
I definitely will.
All right, Julie.
I will, Carlo. You bet.
Congratulations and an early Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to y'all.
Have yourself
Go ahead.
a merry little Christmas.
Take it, Carlo. Swing it, man. Make it swing.
That's all I know. I don't know the next line.
Wow. Julie, that
Julie
is really
rocked
something.
it, man.
She comes into the church 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And she just came in here and just mowed it down as far as
Amen. Well, like I said, she's a sharp knife in the kitchen, my friend. She's a smart gal.
Yeah, a sharp knife in the cookie jar is just that doesn't work. Well, Carlo, I really enjoyed it. Thanks for doing it with
too.
I always
This
have
was
fun
great,
when you do the
man.
game show.
Oh, well, thank you. I always enjoy it. Thanks for the opportunity.
It's always fun when you do it, when Jimmy does it. It's not fun when Trent does it. I don't know why.
Man, you just like
So what will the Broussard family do now? I know that you have. I asked the question in this regard. I know that as a family, you honor the season of Advent, and you don't just mix it all up. So tell me what the traditions are now.
Well, this year we kind of were a bit lenient on that.
Oh, so you eased up a
caught
little
me
bit.
at a bad time, man.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
normally during the season of Advent, we actually put up our tree, but we decorate it with Advent colors, so the
Okay.
purple and the pink. And we do that for a couple of weeks into Advent, 2 or 3 weeks. And then we'll, when it's getting close, we'll change the tree to Christmas decorations, you know, in order to kind of have that visible transition there. But this year, we're actually heading out back home to Louisiana shortly after Christmas for a couple of weeks for vacation and for me to do a talk over there and to hang out with my folks and my siblings. And so this year we were lenient. We put up the Christmas decorations on the tree
So that the kids would have them.
from the get-go. Yeah. So we wanted to, because we wanted to enjoy the beauty of the Christmas decorations. So, but at the same time, we kept the spirit of Advent in as much as an anticipation and certain prayers and singing the Advent hymns before our meal. So, so it's been a great time.
That's
man.
beautiful.
Amen.
That's beautiful. Nick, we're about to go on Christmas break now here at Catholic Answers. You have a young family. Any Christmas traditions yet in your young family? I know you have one little lady and another baby on the way. You got any Christmas traditions you do as a family?
Oh, we'll do Christmas cookies, and then I'm not sure what after that.
Well,
This will be
Christmas
the first
cookies,
time
yeah.
we're at home for the holidays here at
What about assistant producer Marie? Can she tell me her Christmas tradition? You got any Christmas traditions in your family, assistant producer Marie?
So the Lebanese side of my family, we do a huge Christmas Eve party every year, and I have, I think, 49 cousins on that side. So
nice.
It's a big party, and we make Lebanese food, and it's just a good time.
Beautiful.
That's our biggest tradition.
Yeah, it's nice that your family comes in for mass with us sometimes in the morning here. It's a great Lebanese family. And then what about Darren? Darren's standing right there. You're expecting your third child this Christmas. Any Christmas traditions in your young family what do you do as Christmas traditions?
Well, just open presents Christmas morning.
Really?
Yeah.
So the kids give you and Rena presents.
Exactly.
And you open them. And
that's how it works.
That's really cool. That's great. That's great. Brandon, video guy, Christmas traditions or not? Oh, you should probably tell people that.
Hey, video guy.
Hey.
Hi, Brandon. Any family Christmas traditions?
Yeah, we have a family, and we do
some traditions.
Actually, I have to say, I've been to your house, and the Christmas decorations are insane at your house.
It's ridiculous.
Every inch.
Really?
It's wild. His family.
Oh, wow.
I
want to go check that out.
Yeah, it's not as wild as Tim Staples' house, though. Lord help us.
There's a huge party at his house tonight. We're all invited.
I wasn't invited.
What? I wasn't invited.
All right. Thanks, Darren, for a great year here at Catholic Answers.
Amen.
Thanks, Nick, for a lot of great sound work. Thanks, Marie. We're so excited you came, Marie. We're at 2018, the high point. Marie, assistant producer Marie came here. Brandon, thank you. You do a very fine job on the video. And hey, Carlo, enjoy the Christmas season with your family and the travels with your family.
Same to you, brother.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you to all of our listeners as well. We have a bunch of shows coming up between now and the end of the year, but they are pre-recorded shows, and we hope that you... Are we doing any live? No, they're all pre-recorded. So we'll still be here with you, but we're going to take a little break. To be honest, we're all going to take a little break. Jesus Christ is the light of the nations. Merry Christmas. We'll see you next time on Catholic Answers Live.